Today, we're excited to have Alison Astarita, who is from Malta but living in Vietnam. Alison's journey started in the automotive industry in Asia, and she's worked on Greenfield project where she's actually started factory from ground zero. Welcome to Thriving in the Age of Disruption podcast series. Alison, I'm so excited to have you here. Today, I'm in Singapore and you are in Hanoi. So it'll be interesting to see how this conversation goes.
Sure. So first of all, thanks so much, Dr. Ramesh, for giving me the opportunity to be on your podcast. This is my first, podcast experience. So I'm really excited to see how this will go. It's another new experience for me.
Thank you, Alison. My pleasure.
So I'm Alison Astarita. I'm originally from Malta. It's a very small island in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, very close to Italy. But actually, I've made Asia my home for the last 20 plus years. I started in China way back in 2003. And then I've spent 13 years there. And in 2015, I have moved to Vietnam. So I spent most of my career in the automotive industry. So having various roles within operations. So I started as quality management, moved to industrial engineering, and later on also to plant leadership. It's been a really exciting journey. I definitely never dreamt of moving to Asia. It was nowhere in any corner of my imagination. But anyway, here I am.
Oh, what?
So yes, basically outside of work, you would find me enjoying time with friends, because for me, friends are a very important part of my life. Spending time in nature, so whether it is by the mountains or by the sea. And of course, I am a Southern European person, so wining and dining is also a very essential part of my life.
Alison, I wanted to appreciate how much I have admired your zest for life, because we are both in the same network, the Business Executive Network, and you inspire color and variety in our discussions. I wanted to share a little bit about this podcast series. This was to inspire people to think about two essential mindsets for the car world. And one was an entrepreneurial mindset, and the other was a crisis-ready mindset. So let me talk about the entrepreneurial mindset. There are three key areas. One is being resourceful. And by being resourceful, I mean that you're someone who is able to identify the right problem. Because if you have the problem defined correctly, then it's half solved. And then there is the aspect of how do you actually manage uncertainty and take risks. And the last part is about creating value. And this value can be both financial and non-financial, like a social impact. And also it is value that we bring to ourselves or give that to others. So share with us that aspect of entrepreneurial mindset.
Thank you. So I think this goes back way to around 2002. I have always, living on a small island, I always thought, okay, I would want to explore living abroad. At that time, I was working for a company in Malta producing car seat heating and car seat cooling. I knew that there were plans to transfer the operations from Malta to China. And one time, my boss came to me and he goes, so you're part of the team, eh? And funny enough, it was, I think, the fastest decision I made in my life. I just said, yes, sure. Because at that time, I thought, I have nothing to lose. I mean, it's surely a new opportunity. And yeah, if it doesn't work out, I can just go back home. I mean, I was not going to end up in the streets. Something which was meant to be a 3-year assignment ended up being a 13-year journey in China, which then also with the same company brought me over to Vietnam. Actually, you never know what opportunities come your way. Have that mindset to be ready to take what the universe throws at you.
That's right. Okay, great. So I love being ready for the opportunity is a mindset. And also the fact that you were able to tell yourself when you're making the decision, well, if it doesn't work out, I can go back home. And that's like how you manage uncertainty and take risks, right? Because it helps you to move forward. How did you move along in that career that you've had with this company? Because you moved from quality area to setting up factories in the automotive industry. So share a little bit more about that journey.
So basically, when I studied at university, I studied chemistry and biology. And I always wanted to work in manufacturing. I found it exciting. It's dynamic. Actually, my very first job after university was working in a microbiology lab for a pharmaceutical sector. After 1.5 years, I remember there was this job advert. So at that time, it was internet was actually just at the very, very beginning. This company was looking for somebody with scientific background that they would train you to become quality manager. This also doesn't happen every day, that a company gives you the opportunity to train you to become a manager. And I got the job. So it was at that time, it was a German company. I worked there, and I was also part of setting up the quality department right from scratch. So there's always been something in me enjoying to start up things from the beginning, designing that framework and making it happen. Then 5 years down the line, I was given the chance to be part of the startup team with the same company of the factory that we set up in China. I was part of the startup team there. And again, given this more or less like it's a blank paper. But I think also what is even more rewarding is actually the people part. In 2003, so we gave the opportunity for people in China to join our company. We taught them new technologies, new processes, new tools. Looking back now, like 20 years later, and seeing how people have progressed in their lives and how they're now actually leading some top companies in China, seeing that really touches my heart and make this whole journey so rewarding. I have been lucky to be given the opportunity to actually do this now 3 times over. I get the chance to build a new factory from Greenfield, opportunity to select the location where we want to build, work with construction companies. And yes, we actually had our grand opening last October, and we started mass production in September. Grateful to have been given this opportunity 3 times. It gives me so much energy to be able to create things right from the beginning and actually have a vision and make it come to life.
You remind me of any typical startup founder, because you start off with a blank page and just build it from ground zero. Vietnam is attracting a lot of FDI investments. What is the biggest challenge for both investors and local owners of factories around quality?
First of all, I always believe in working with the right partners that have your same values, because then that is the only way you can make things happen in the right way. For example, whether we work with our construction company, the insurance company, that have also guided us always in the right way to build things after the typhoon. I'm grateful with the partners we have engaged, because it's really all thanks to their high standards, to their high requirements, that we could build in the right way. We've built something that could withstand the Yagi. When I look around our area, we have been lucky because we came away with some minor injuries.
Right.
Yeah, so I think working with the right partners for me is key.
Here's the $1 million question. How do you find the right partner?
There are always these networks, like Chamber of Commerce for the different regions. You can always connect with people that are already here, and they can share their stories, experiences with you. You take a couple of samples of those, and then you can form your opinion. You can understand better all your challenges and also what are the right channels to work with. So you get introduced basically to their own network where they have already proven successful. And I think it's a continuous journey. I've also been on the other side of the experience, like a showcase to companies who are coming to invest here. Time to give back and share our own experiences with newcomers, companies that are interested to set up here.
You can tap on the chambers of commerce. You can talk to people who are already located here. But more importantly, I also like the fact that when we settle, then we can also share our journey and experience with others. I'm sure that when you started off in the automotive industry, you were a rare person because you represented the fairer sex. And how was that? When you look at statistics around women's participation in STEM, it's still low. So, what would be your advice to young women who want to work in male dominated sectors and industry?
I have to be honest. In my earlier days, I did feel that I had to prove myself, or I had to work double to prove myself. But of course, that was in my very early days, building my own experience to be credible, because I started as a leadership position at a young age. So of course, I had to also build credibility for myself. But after all these experiences, I must say, for me, there is one quote that really resonates with me from Sherry Sandberg. I was listening to her TED Talk, and she said, in the future, there will be no female leaders. There will be just leaders.
Wow.
This really resonates. Also because our gender should not limit us from our career aspiration.
Yes.
So it's not about our gender, but it's just about our skills, our experiences that we bring onto the table. One advice I give to younger leaders is to never stop learning, never stop bringing on new skills, never stop trying new experiences, because this is one way to be always one step ahead and be prepared for any new opportunities that come your way. We will never know when these opportunities come, actually. So it's really just up to us to be prepared. I also share with my own team, we need to take control of our own career development. Nobody's going to do that for us. So this is why I always think that preparation, keeping ourselves up to date is key to then be able to embrace any opportunity that comes our way.
Oh, wonderful. I mean, that's really useful advice for any young leader, male or female, who wants to move up their career ladder. So I want to move on to the next piece, and that was about a crisis-ready mindset. And I define a crisis as any kind of setback or failure. And usually it's serious enough where if you don't survive, you could die. And some people react to it by either fighting back, or some of us can freeze and some of us can flee from that. I'm sure you came across crisis, whether it was personal or at the workplace. Share with us an example and also point out what was that enduring quality that allowed you to be grounded and resilient.
Yeah, so of course, life always comes with challenges, but it is really up to us to decide to look at challenges. I always look at any challenge, any setback as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to learn. So maybe it comes because of my quality background. So with all my problem solving skills and experiences, but I always like to see, okay, now this happened. Fine. What went wrong? What was the reason behind this? What can we learn from it? How can we make sure that it will not happen again? By taking this mindset, I never let any challenges pull me down, because I always say, okay, what has happened? I think what is most important is our takeout from it.
Mm-hmm.
What is our lessons from it? And how can we grow from it?
Right. So I love that opportunity to learn and grow. And so then you focus on that improvement rather than it as a failure or a setback.
I like to practice every day before I go to sleep. I keep a gratitude note and I reflect on 3 things I'm grateful for every day. They can be very simple things. It's as simple as today I managed to lift a new weight in my workout at the gym. I see the mind like a cookie jar, okay? So when you fill it up with positive thoughts, then there is little space for negative thoughts to come in and distract our life. I've been doing this for quite a while. It has really helped to keep positive.
That's a very powerful practice, just being grateful. I like the fact that you note down 3 things, not just one. And it allows you then to really be rigorous to find the miracles in the day. You know, the way society is managed and organized, we focus so much on the things that don't work. So to reflect on what you are grateful for and what worked, I think that's a great opportunity. Okay, let's move on to another new topic, and that's about spirituality. Where are you in your spiritual journey? Would you like to share about that?
For me, spirituality is about exploring our inner selves, understanding our connections with others and with the universe. So it's also about reflecting on our values, our beliefs, our life experience. Ultimately, spirituality is a lifelong journey of discovery and growth. I think the most challenging part for me, at least, has always been to trust the process and just trust that the universe knows best. And whatever the universe throws at you is actually that is what you need at that moment in your life. Nowadays, I just really try to practice to just embrace whatever the universe throws at me. And then I've become quite a believer that actually everything happens for the right reason.
Wow. You have highlighted two different aspects. One is having faith in the universe and that whatever is in front of you is the lesson that you have to learn or go through, right? But then there is also the other aspect, and although you didn't talk about it, how does manifestation show up?
This is very interesting when we talked about preparing yourselves for the opportunity.
Yes.
So I think that also when we are preparing ourselves, we're actually telling the universe that we are ready. So we can also attract those opportunities or those circumstances.
Yes. We should catch up and have coffee and talk more about that.
Definitely. This is a topic. It is one of the experiences or the learnings throughout my life journey. I somehow connect with people who have also the same kind of thinking. So I also enjoy sharing and talking to friends or people that I come across in life. I just always look at different perspectives because sometimes another angle to look at things always help us grow.
That's right. What about living a simple life? Do you think it's possible to live a simple life?
This is really a good question. In today's, let's say, fast-paced world, simple life just means focusing on the things that matter and just finding joy in the simple things. So, for example, I'm a sun chaser. I go also around the world. I'm always want to watch sunset. But even just sitting down, whether sitting down in my apartment or sitting down by the beach or wherever, or just on a rooftop somewhere and just enjoying sunset. This gives me so much joy. Same thing if it's just catching up with a friend and maybe a glass of wine, sit on the beach.
Right.
Yeah, and just talk, or maybe sometimes just listen to the waves. These small things that fill me up with happiness. Simple life is just trying to remove all the distraction a modern life brings. This is not something we can do all the time, but I think it is important that we are aware of it, we are mindful about it, and so try to find more of this, let's say, carved out moments where we can really just, live in the moment and just really enjoy the things that matter and make us happy.
Wow. So I love it, taking out the distractions and carve out spaces. They're two very interesting phrases, but they evoke an imagery of something that we can have control over rather than be helpless that it's something we have to do at some point when we retire or when we have more time or more money.
It's actually very simple things.
Yeah.
And maybe it's come because I'm an island girl. So for me, the sea, the sun are things that, of course, I really enjoy and give me a lot of pleasure. It's also a matter of looking for that.
And if you had to describe thriving, what 3 words would you use to describe thriving?
So I think first is embracing challenge, then turning them into opportunities,
Hmm.
So then the third one would be growth.
Nice.
And looking back at my life, when we are embracing these challenges and not just going through, not just surviving through ups and downs, but like really seek these opportunities that push us beyond our comfort zone, then we really cultivate a mindset of resilience and curiosity to open ourselves to opportunities. So as we mentioned about the manifestation, and so all these things, all this mindset, and I strongly believe it's a way to it's a signal we give to the universe.
Yeah.
That can provide us with opportunities because we are open and we are ready to explore more.
I'm curious, how did you start to engage in this mindset? Was it something that you were influenced through reading or programs?
So, of course, I do reading. And I mean, I think one of the very first books that also would remain really engaged for me is the Power of Now.
Ah, yes.
And from Susan Jefford. And then you start to explore further. And I remember also there was one moment in my life. So I was also working together with a coach on mindfulness. Of course, there were some insecurities and so on. And this is where I started the exploring of mindfulness and living in the presence, more about gratitude. So wow. It's been an interesting journey.
Thank you for sharing that. Sustainability is a very big part of the manufacturing industry as well as the world in general. And in our consulting practice, we say it's the ongoing thriving of a living system. Fundamentally, it starts with one's mindset. Even before you distill it down to a process, whether it's with recycling or with reducing, I wanted to discuss with you where and how do you embrace sustainability, whether it's in the organization as well as personally in your life.
Sustainability is also very high in the agenda for the company that I'm working for today. Sustainability is really about, let's say, meeting the present needs without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs.
Right.
It's really about a holistic approach which balances economic growth, environment protection, and social equity. Taking an example in our organization, our sustainability program actually has 3 pillars. One of them is people. So that's our workforce. So how do we provide them with a safe and positive working environment, which also allows them to participate in the success of our company and also provide them with the opportunity to grow. Then it goes to the planet. So that is our environment. As a company, we can have so much impact on this because of all the materials of all our supply chain. So this is where our company tries to work on this first in terms of our product itself. Okay. So let's say, how do we design a product with a certain recycled content? How do we try to optimize our supply chain to have less impact on the carbon footprint? It's a long-term journey. And as a company, our main goals is by 2030 to actually have our emissions cut by half, and by 2050 to be a carbon neutral company. So, of course, we have many activities going on in this way. And third is our community. It's still an area where we can do much more as a company. I think we're still at our initial stages, but I'm sure we will find more opportunities on how to support the communities that we operate in. So for me, it's about giving back. We are given the opportunity to work maybe in competitive environments, like, for example, here in Vietnam. Then I really think it is our responsibility to give back to the community. And I always believe that actually education, the foundation of sustainability. So this is how we can help our community by sharing knowledge, try to build up awareness on maybe how to protect the environment, how to work in a safe environment, also maybe working with schools and how we can help them to provide them with not only with knowledge, but maybe with tools or making the education environment more attractive for the children that attend there. I have quite a lot of ideas. My personal life, I try to be mindful about trying to have less plastic in my life. When it comes to driving, I mean, I am working 1 hour away from Hanoi, so Sometimes that's always a question, but then where possible, I try to mitigate where I'm in the city, try to do more walking. Right. So yeah, I think small things. I think every little small thing can contribute.
I think that's really spot on, right? Each one of us can contribute in our own small way. And we don't have to wait for that big major thing to happen. Alison, how do you measure the impact of your work?
I really see that through my people. I still keep in touch with a lot of my colleagues. So I think the fact that people also, they can still reach out to me for maybe sometimes for bouncing ideas or for some advice, or even just seeing their growth journey and how they have developed, when they first started with our company to where they are today, seeing people like 20 years on in China now leading some major companies. This really touches my heart. It makes my work meaningful. Also because as a leader, my main mission is really to create working experiences where people can grow, both personally and professionally.
Oh, wow. I like that. Nice. And how do you stay motivated when the going gets tough?
I think it's two ways. I think this practice of gratitude definitely really helps me keep positive and looking at the positive part of life. But I think one other thing is about the people I surround myself with. I don't know if it's because I have been lucky or I attract these kind of people, but yeah, whether I've lived throughout my journey, whether in Malta or I've lived or in Beijing or here, I've managed to have some very good friends, same mindset, the same quest for learning and for developing, and we do share a lot. I like to share and see other people's perspective is, and maybe if they had a similar experience. I feel this helps a lot.
Right. So it's like having this extended network, which becomes then your support structure as well.
Yes. For me, this is key. So I think also this one reason why I survived so long away from home. So having this network, this support structure is very, very important. And of course, I've made some of the strongest bonds during my time living abroad. We say we are only a flight away. We still celebrate big events, whether it's a birthday or it's a marriage, any big milestone. We are there also to share the celebration.
What's the one thing you wish you knew at the start of your journey?
I guess it's like the importance of believing in yourself and just try. Just try. You have nothing to lose.
Nice.
The self-confidence is something I developed through life. It was not always there from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to ask you some fun questions. What's your favorite book?
So yes, I think so really. So I think Becoming from Michelle Obama is one of my favorite books. Becoming has been quite inspirational for me.
Nice. And what's your favorite travel destination?
So yeah, so of course, traveling is really one of the things I really love to do, to explore the world. So of course, my favorite would always be a beach destination. I am a beach lover, so luckily I am here in Southeast Asia, so we do have some access to some very nice places, exploring the culture, the people's, the daily life, and of course, always exploring the cuisine. I mean, so for me, food plays also a very important part. And I see that also as part of the culture, actually.
What do you think is your superpower?
Oh, interesting. I think one is my intuition. I think it has always proved me right. I feel I'm a positive person, so I attract positivity.
And if you could have dinner with any person in the world, who would that be?
Oh, I never thought about that one. So interesting. I would like to have a dinner with Michelle Obama because I'm attracted to her life story and how she managed to be down to earth.
What's the best advice that you've ever received in your life?
It really comes from my coach, and it was just really about embracing the moments and just being grateful for what you have.
Wow. Excellent. And the worst advice?
I don't think I was given any worse.
Alison, thank you very much for being on this podcast. I enjoyed our chat, getting to know you a lot more as well.
So thank you very much, Dr. Ramesh. This has been really exciting experience. As I said, this was the first time.
Yes.
And it's so thank you very much for all your sharing and for giving me the opportunity to share with your audience.
You're welcome.